You've been chasing, running after goals, running after approval, running after everything they told you matters, and you're still empty, still restless, still weak when no one's watching. Let me tell you something real. You don't find power by looking for it. You become power by stopping the search. You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop explaining, and you start building. In silence, in pain, in solitude. The man who stops searching is the man who starts creating. Because he doesn't need anything from the world anymore. He's done waiting, he's done hoping, he's done doubting. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't ask, he doesn't shrink. He just walks forward, eyes cold, heart locked in, mind wired for war. This is not advice. This is a psychological kill switch. Once you flip it, there's no going back. This is not a message for your feelings. This is a message for your identity. For the man buried underneath your fear. For the fighter chained behind your comfort. You've been living on autopilot, drifting, pleasing, reacting. But that's not you. That's not who you were built to be. You were built to dominate, to command, to carve your will into reality with blood and time. You think this is about motivation? No. This is about mental reprogramming, thought by thought, hour by hour, brick by brick. You're not here to survive. You're here to become a force, a presence, a man who no longer needs permission to exist. When you stop searching, you start transforming. When you stop needing, you start leading. When you stop explaining, you start becoming. Every distraction is an enemy. Every excuse is a traitor. Every thought that tells you to quit is a virus. You either destroy it or it destroys you. There is no neutral mind. There is no neutral life. Either you take the wheel or your weakness does. And weakness never drives you home. It buries you. This is your reset. Your inner war begins here. And it ends only when you refuse to live like the man you used to be. I no longer search. I no longer wait. I own every second. I build every day. I am the architect. I am the fire. I let go of the chase. And I rose. I stop chasing. I start becoming. I walk with weight. I speak with truth. They only saw the fists, the knockouts, the animal in the ring. But they never saw what built the beast. They didn't see the hours of silence, the war in his mind, the mental torture that forged Mike Tyson before the world ever spoke his name. It wasn't just training. It wasn't just boxing. It was identity. He wasn't preparing for a fight. He was becoming the fight. That's the mindset you need. Not, I hope I win. Not, I wish it gets easier. But I am the storm they warned you about. You destroy fear by walking toward it. You kill doubt by outworking it. You silence weakness by starving it. You don't negotiate with your limits. You break them. You don't wait for the pain to stop. You use it as fuel. Discipline is not a choice. It's a weapon. And every day you don't sharpen it, you rust. You forget who you are. You become a puppet to your own comfort. Tyson didn't flinch. Not in the ring, not in the gym, not in the mirror. Because he had already fought the real opponent, his own softness, his own fear, his own past. And he beat it. Every morning. Every night. Again and again until the old version of himself was gone. You want power? Kill the part of you that hesitates. You want clarity? Burn the part of you that complains. You want victory? Choke the voice that says, later. Champions aren't made in stadiums. They're made in silence, in repetition, in pain. You don't rise by chance. You rise by command. You don't flinch. You don't ask. You don't beg. You execute. With cold precision. With savage consistency. That's fight mentality. You walk into the fire, you breathe under pressure, you smile when it hurts, you move when it's dark, you show up when no one else will, because that's who you are, not because it's fun, not because it's easy, because you made a vow to yourself, I will not live as a fraction of who I could be. And you keep that vow in every breath, every step, every drop of sweat. You keep it when no one's watching. You keep it when it would be easier to quit. That's what makes you dangerous, not your speed. Not your size, your code, your mental blueprint, your refusal to break. Tyson knew, the mind is the first muscle to train. If it's not sharp, the body is useless. If it's not trained, your talent becomes your trap. And if it's not ready to suffer, it's not ready to lead. You want to level up? Start with your thoughts. Cut the noise. Cut the weakness. Cut the drama. You don't have time for that. You're in a fight, every day, against your lesser self. And if you don't show up like a savage, he wins. But not today. Not anymore. You don't skip reps. You don't skip pain. You don't skip truth. The world gave you reasons to break. You turned them into bricks and built yourself. You're not a product of your environment. You're the rebellion inside it. You're not a victim of your history. You're the weapon that rewrites it. You're not here to be liked. You're here to win your war from the inside out. You are built for violence of focus, for discipline so sharp it slices through noise. You are built to withstand what breaks others. And if they can't see that yet, good. Let them underestimate. Let them sleep on you. Let them talk while you train, while you sharpen, while you suffer, until the day comes when you don't need to say a word, because your presence alone says everything. I don't wait for motivation. I build it. I am not fighting for a win. I am the fight. There's a war happening, and it's not outside. It's not in the ring. It's not in the world. It's inside you. Every single day, every single hour. Two versions of you are fighting for control. One wants comfort. One wants greatness. One wants distraction. One wants discipline. One wants validation. One wants silence. And only one gets to win. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The version of you that always shows up late, that snoozes the alarm, that makes excuses, that hides behind, "I'll do it later," that whispers, "Be realistic." That version has to die. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. He's the reason you feel lost. He's the reason you start things and never finish. He's the reason your mind is soft. That weak version is not your friend. He's a parasite. He feeds off your fears, off your delays, off your comfort. And every time you give him power, you lose time you'll never get back. But here's the truth. You were never born weak. You were taught to be, conditioned to be, trained to obey instead of dominate, taught to please instead of lead, taught to fit in instead of break out. And that version of you, the real you, is suffocating under years of hesitation and fear. But he's still there, beneath the guilt, beneath the laziness, beneath the noise. He's waiting for you to finally snap, for you to say, "I've had enough." Because transformation doesn't happen when you feel good. It happens when you're done pretending, done apologizing, done shrinking. That moment you finally face yourself without filters, without lies, without pity. That's the start of real power. You look in the mirror and say, "No more. No more fake discipline. No more empty talk. No more being average and pretending it's fine. No more being nice to the version of me that's been killing my future." You kill him with decisions, with early mornings, with hard reps, with focused silence, with no excuses, no skipping, no needing, no escaping. You get up, you suffer, you sharpen, and you return stronger. Every time. That's how you win this war. Not by feeling inspired, but by becoming inevitable. You are not a quote on a wall. You are not a trend. You are not a soft voice talking about change. You are the hammer. You are the weight. You are the cold flame that doesn't flicker when the wind comes. That weak voice in your head, you silence it by outworking it. You bury it with proof. You suffocate it with truth. You don't argue with it. You outlast it. You don't wait for it to be quiet. You rise while it screams, and one day it fades. Not because it gave up, but because you outgrew it. You became too strong to be touched by it. That's the goal, not to feel better, but to become untouchable, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You want peace? Win the war within. You want confidence? Earn it with scars. You want power? Prove it to yourself in private. No one can do it for you. No one can carry your suffering. No one can silence your demons. That's your job, your duty, your responsibility. And if you don't do it, no one will. You want to be feared. Learn to master your emotions. You want to be respected. Learn to suffer in silence. You want to be unstoppable? Learn to destroy the old you every day. Not once, not in theory, every day. With fire in your lungs, with steel in your spine, with no applause, no camera, no validation, just war. Between who you are and who you refuse to be. And when you win that war, you walk different. You speak different. You carry weight. You carry presence. Because you're not faking anymore. You're not hiding anymore. You're not begging anymore. You're built from the inside out, and no one can take that from you. I face myself. I kill the weakness. I rise without mercy. I lead without fear. You won't find greatness in the crowd. You won't build identity in noise. And you won't earn mastery under the spotlight. You become who you are in isolation, in the silence, in the repetition, in the hours no one will ever see. Tyson didn't become the most feared fighter in the world by performing. He became it by disappearing. Into the gym, into the suffering, into a lifestyle so silent it scared people. You have to vanish from distractions, from approval, from comparison. You have to go dark long enough to become dangerous. You have to trade attention for obsession, noise for focus, comfort for war. The beast is built in the quiet. And if you're scared to be alone, you'll never find your edge. You'll stay soft. You'll stay surface. Because isolation is where the truth shows up. The truth about how bad you really want it. The truth about who you are when no one's watching. When there's no audience, no likes, no applause. Just you and your rituals. Just you and the echoes of your excuses. That's where you either break or build. Because isolation doesn't lie. It reveals. It magnifies. It strips the masks off. If you still need validation to move, you're not ready. If you still need someone to watch you grind, you're not dangerous yet. The real ones vanish. They disappear to sharpen, to suffer, to transform. They don't broadcast their evolution. They let it speak through presence. You've been trained to think silence means nothing's happening. But in the world of killers, silence means power is compounding. Power is being refined. Power is being earned in blood and breath. There is no crowd in the cocoon, but there is a monster being made. Let them wonder where you went. Let them talk. Let them guess, while you disappear into the basics, into the pain, into the repetition. You don't need more opinions. You need more discipline, more silence, more unbroken days of war. You isolate to purify, to cut the noise, to train the voice inside that says, get up, go again, you're not done. And that voice becomes your command center. That voice becomes your edge. When the world stops talking and you're still working, that's when you know you're real. That's when you know you're built different. Because most people collapse in silence. They need noise to feel alive. But you rise in it. You grow in it. You become elite in it. Isolation is not loneliness. It's alignment. Alignment with your purpose, with your code, with your next level. You're not missing out. You're locking in. You're not bored. You're being reborn. That's the difference. You're not like them. You never were. You're not here to be seen. You're here to be undeniable. You're not here to be celebrated. You're here to be forged. That takes silence. That takes stillness. That takes time. The old, you can't survive the isolation. That's why you enter it. To kill him off. To starve the distractions. To erase the parts of you that crave attention, that need permission. You go into the dark to lose the weight of the fake life. And when you come back, you're sharper. You're colder. You're focused. You're lethal. Because now your energy doesn't leak. Now your mind doesn't drift. Now your power doesn't depend on who's watching. It's yours, unshakable, earned, owned. That's what isolation gives you, mental independence. And once you have that, you're dangerous. They won't understand it. Let them talk. Let them scroll. Let them play while you prepare. Because when it's time to step in, you'll move like a ghost. Unseen, unstoppable. A product of every silent rep they never saw. Every lonely morning they mocked. Every cold hour that shaped your fire. I disappear to evolve. I train where no one sees. I need no witness. I am the proof. You're going to fall. You're going to break. You're going to lose things that mattered. And it's going to hurt more than words can carry. But listen, that's not the end. That's the forge. That's where the code is written. The comeback doesn't begin when you win. It begins when you're shattered, when you're sitting in the ruins of your identity, when you're staring at the failure with no one left to blame. That's when you decide who you are, not when things go right, when everything goes wrong. That's when the fighter steps up. That's when the beast is born. Tyson knows. He lost everything: fame, discipline, focus, control. He fell hard. He tasted the bottom. And he'll tell you it was necessary. Because without that collapse, there's no resurrection. Without that fire, there's no transformation. You've been taught to fear failure, to avoid it, to escape it. But if you're serious about greatness, you stop running. You walk into the storm. You let it burn off who you're not. You let it strip your ego. You let it expose your addictions. You let it punch your pride in the mouth. And once you've got nothing left but pain and truth, that's when you're clean. That's when you're ready. You don't rebuild from confidence. You rebuild from nothing. From scars, from loss, from silence. And what you build then can't be shaken. Because now you don't train to impress. You train to redeem. You train to never go back to who you were. You train because you've seen what happens when you don't. That's the comeback code. Fall, feel, rise. Not by magic, not by luck, by will, by routine. By facing every broken part of you and saying, we're not staying here. They saw Tyson fall, but they didn't see what came next. The meditation, the cleansing, the rebuild. He didn't fake his comeback. He earned it, with sweat, with tears, with truth. You want to come back stronger? Then stop pretending it didn't hurt. Admit it, feel it, then move. Move different, train sharper, think colder, live with a deeper reason. Your failure is not your prison. It's your platform. It's your fuel. If you use it right. If you stop hiding from it, stop numbing it, stop blaming, look it in the eye, let it burn, let it teach you, let it rewire your standards. Because what breaks you today can build you tomorrow. If you don't quit, if you don't settle, if you get back up with new eyes. You've seen the floor now. That means you know what not to be, what not to allow, what not to become again. And if you carry that into your habits, into your mornings, into your silence, you'll walk like someone who's been to hell and didn't stay. You don't need to explain your scars. You wear them like armor. You don't need their forgiveness. You forgave yourself. You don't need the spotlight. You became the flame. You fell? Good. That means your foundation was weak. Now you build it right. Now you build it slow. Now you build it so strong, no collapse will ever break you again. You are not the man who fell. You are the man who got back up without applause. You are the man who trained with shame and turned it into edge. You are the man who said, never again, and meant it. That's power. That's character. That's the comeback code. So don't hide your failure. Study it. Frame it. Honor it. It's the reason you'll never be average again. It's the reason your next version will be unstoppable. I rose from loss. I trained with pain. I rebuilt in silence. I returned with fire. You don't rise by chance. You rise by ritual. daily, relentless, repetitive, not glamorous, not exciting, not loud, just war. Quiet war. Ritual is the backbone of transformation. It's not what you do once. It's what you do forever. It's how beasts are built. You think Tyson woke up inspired? No. He woke up programmed. Programmed to train. Programmed to hurt. Programmed to win the first battle of the day. Getting up when comfort begged him to stay. That's the code. Your life is the reflection of your rituals. You can't lie to your habits. They show who you are when the cameras are off, when no one's checking, when no one claps. And that's where the elite are made. In the first hour, the first thought, the first choice. Every morning is a war. You either rise with purpose or sink into the same excuses that kept you average. Ritual rewrites the script. It doesn't care how you feel, it cares what you do. Discipline is the daily sermon, the daily fight, the daily prayer. And every rep is a word, every sweat drop is a sentence, every sacrifice is a verse. Until your life speaks the language of excellence. You don't wait to feel like it. You don't wait for energy. You move anyway. You train anyway. You show up anyway. Because that's who you are now. Not someone chasing motivation. Someone rooted in mastery. You start the day in silence. No scrolling, no noise. Just breath. Just focus. Just you in the mirror. You remind yourself who you are, who you refuse to be, and why today is not a joke. You journal. You plan. You visualize the man you're building. You don't hope. You see it. You feel it. You commit to it. Then you move. You sweat. You stretch. You push your limits before the world can push you. That's how you earn armor. That's how you build presence. And every night, you review. You check the score. Not in likes, not in praise, in pain, in precision, in progress. You track your promises. You don't negotiate with your weakness. You don't reward half effort. You reward obedience to the code. That's what rituals do. They turn your identity into action. And when the world shakes, you don't. Because you have roots. Deep roots. Anchored in repetition. Anchored in suffering. Anchored in silence. This isn't a lifestyle. This is your new religion. Your temple is your routine. Your altar is your schedule. Your prayers are your reps, and your faith is your consistency. Every day you either worship your goals or your distractions. But you can't serve both. One will own you, one will feed you, the other will kill you slowly. Choose. You don't rise by accident, you rise by decision. Then you protect that decision with rituals that leave no room for the old you. You eat like the man you want to be. You move like the fighter you are. You speak like the leader they forgot to expect. No soft mornings. No lazy nights. You rest when it's earned, not when you're bored. You celebrate consistency, not comfort. You don't need motivation. You are motivation. You don't chase routine. You are the routine. You don't wait to be reminded. You remind the world what discipline looks like. This isn't a phase. This isn't a moment. This is who you are now. This is the code you carry. This is the ritual that sharpens your soul. And when others break down, you rise calm. Because you were built in the repetition, in the darkness, in the silence. You trained your spirit when no one saw. Now you walk with certainty. You breathe with weight. You act with edge. You are not random anymore. You are routine. You are rhythm. You are ritual. I rise with structure. I move with purpose. I am not motivated. I am programmed. This is the part where something ends. Not the video, not the message. Something in you. The old story. The old name. The old version that kept waiting, searching, doubting. He doesn't leave with you. He stays here, buried under every word you just heard. Because now, you walk different. You think different. You train different. You speak like someone who's been to war with himself and won. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't beg life to notice you. You're not the student of pain anymore. You're its architect. You know what you are now? Final, solid, unmoved. You wake up with codes in your bones and silence in your veins, because real power doesn't shout. It breathes, it observes, it waits. And when it moves, it doesn't ask, it doesn't explain. It arrives, fully, unapologetically. That's you now. You no longer search, you no longer wander, you no longer shrink. You are presence, you are focus, you are the standard, not tomorrow, now, not after validation, without it. You are no longer the man who needed a reason. You are the reason. You are no longer the man who avoided the mirror. You are the man who stares into it and commands. That's your new language. Command, not request, not hope. Command. You carry weight now, not from your past, from your code. You walk like a man who's earned himself, who's bled for his own mind, who buried the lesser self and never looked back. You don't just act different, you are different. Because you've installed the truth, layer by layer, rep by rep, word by word. Now you're not surviving, you're sculpting. Now you're not dreaming, you're executing. You are not noise, you are signal. You are not reaction, you are strategy. You are not potential, you are proof. And the world will feel that before you speak. That's identity. Not what you wear, not what you say, what you repeat, what you live, what you no longer tolerate. You are not like them, and you never were. You are not here to blend. You are here to lead. In silence, in rhythm, in power. And now you know the truth. You don't find peace by chasing it. You become peace by building who you were meant to be. So what now? Are you going to scroll back to your old self or step into the ring as the man you were born to become? I don't flinch. I don't fade. I command my mind. I carry the code.